I believe you're committed to about $60 million to about 15 players next year. Someone's going to have to be a pretty good whiz in balancing that salary cap to be able to make sure you can keep all your players. Are you going to be able to keep all your players? There's already speculation that you might lose a couple.
We were able to sign a number of players to long-term, contracts this year. By the end of the year, we'll know which players, and if you can better the team in any way, what you have to do or not. But at least those pillars, those players that we have, 6, 7 years to 11 to 12 years, they're not going to be part of it. The nice thing is we were able to keep the players we have and be able to commit to those, and then we'll have to rotate other players in there.
Do you think the organization is facing some tough decisions going forward, going into next year?
They're always tough because you always want to have your team be better than the year before. So absolutely there is, but that's nothing new. These are nice decisions to have. But every team in a hard salary cap has the same decisions. You're not in an island out here. I mean, there's plenty of other teams that have to look at these things and which players they can sign and which ones they can't.
The Hawks have made huge splash in free agent market the last few years, but does the salary cap situation now kind of preclude you guys from going out and getting another marquee type free agent?
Well, I think this time it's probably pretty difficult because we have to play with the cards we have. So those free agents we had obviously in Marian Hossa, and we've only seen him half this year because of his injury. We missed the first 20 games, but I think the fans have seen, what a terrific player he is. And obviously Brian Campbell, I mean, he's hurt now, but he was having a terrific year, and he's a team player, and I think that you're going to see him around for a lot of years. So Huey for a few years, and he's going to be just fine.
There's been a lot of talk about Cristobal Huey, the goalie, and you're committed to, I think, $11 million over this year and next year to him. Does it make it paramount, when you're talking in this market with the salary cap, that you really have to be right on these free agents?
That and the players you go, long term with. I mean, we have Marian Hossa, which is important, but you also have, Duncan Keith. I mean, we have 12 years, and it starts next year, and Kane and Taves, that they're the kind of players that just because they sign a big multi-year contract, those contracts tend to be front-end loaded. They just don't sit back and say, well, I've been signed, I'm not going to play very hard. I mean, these players, you see how they're playing this year and how they've played this year, and it takes the right kind of character of player or you wouldn't go out there. Yes, you have to get the right free agents, but you don't want to go long-term unless the player you are going long-term has a character that you want to be him around, for the rest, for a lot of years in your team.
One of the reasons why those contracts are so long is that you have to be creative to try to make it all work. Would that be, is that a correct statement?
Right. You have to get your average in keeping with what the collective bargaining rules do, but you're still obligated for the term of that contract. So what you don't want to do is sign a player for 12 years and have him for all practical purposes quit on you. You got another 11 years to go with that player. So if he doesn't have the right character, then we've guessed wrong. But we think that the players that we've gone long term with are people that we want be part of the Blackhawks for many years to come.
And the reason is because, like we saw in the 70s and the 60s and the 70s with the Hull, Mikita, and Tony Esposito, it's important to have cornerstones of franchise. People always will be able to identify with those players, not only for this generation, but generations to come. Is that?
Well, that's absolutely right. You want to make sure that, number 19 and 88 and 2 are going to be around for a lot of years to come, and that you don't have to worry about, my God, I got to get a scorecard because, quite frankly, I don't know who's on the ice tonight. So those players, you want to be there, and it's important that they finish their careers here and be part of the business and social community.